Hello, it's Ruby, and today I'm going to be showing you another study with me, but this one spans from Sunday right through to Friday. I've never done a video like this before, so I really hope that you enjoy it. I'm really excited to share it with you, and I'm so sorry that this is such a long video. So I just wanted to quickly start by showing you these pens, which were actually sent to me by Chalkler, and they are wet wipe markers, so you can basically write on non-porous surfaces such as windows and mirrors and whiteboards, and I was just using them to write little motivational quotes on my window to help keep me motivated to study. I will leave these linked down below because I've really been loving them since receiving them, and it's not sponsored, by the way, just to point out. So this study with me is starting on Sunday night, and the last thing that I did this day was just finish off this course on humanism, which I was doing for Future Learn. And actually, a funny story, so I was doing this every night and I was doing it regularly, and it was a really great habit that I got into, and then I just didn't do it for 2 weeks. And when you reach the time limit on a Future Learn course, you have to pay for it after that stage, and I really wanted to finish it, but I didn't want to pay, so I just finished it this evening, and I did 2 weeks of work in one evening. I kind of rushed it, but I still learnt a lot, and so I don't think that it was time wasted or anything. It just really urged me to be really productive when I was going through this course. So that's basically just what I'm doing here. I'm just reading through the articles, usually reading the transcripts instead of watching the videos because that's quicker for me. And then I decided to move over to my bed because it was about 9:45 and I was quite tired, so I just lay down in bed to do the rest of it. And then this is on Monday night, and the first thing that I just did was this context research for English. This was homework that we had before our mock exams, but I didn't do it last week because of mocks, and so I'm only just doing it now. It really didn't take very long though. I just had to look for some key context points about love for both the Edwardian period and the Tudor/Stuart period, and it was very interesting. So then I just ticked that off my to-do list. So I actually had an extra chemistry lesson after school this day, so I didn't get home until about 6:30. But what I did after doing my English homework and also eating dinner was just go through the key revision notes that I had taken in the chemistry lesson and just transferred them to flashcards. So then after I'd finished that, my RS teacher, had recommended a video for me to watch, and so I was just watching it here and taking some notes, and it was really interesting. It's a video by Matthew Vines about how he convinced his family that it was okay to be homosexual and that the Bible actually condoned it. So that was really interesting and I really appreciated the recommendation. And then here I was just making some really tricky essay questions for sexual ethics, and I was just going through the spec to make these. So the first thing I did when I got home from school on Tuesday evening was just make these mini mind maps for sexual ethics again, and this was just checking to see how much information I could actually recall, and I was basically just using the essay plans that I'd used the night before, so I could plan really tricky essays. And I also needed to email my friend Ellie, so I just did that. And then I moved on to adding to a Quizlet, again sexual ethics, because there were a few mini facts and pieces of research that I'd done since coming back to school from the Easter holidays, and I thought it would be useful to just add these bits into my Quizlet set. Then next, again for sexual ethics, I did some more research. I was just looking through the news and looking for current stories that I could add into my essays. So for each of my subjects, I like to keep these display wallets, and I will just put in all my revision resources, so I've got them all in one place, but I was actually using one folder for both English and RS, and I realised that I really needed to use two because the other one was getting so full, so I just went through and added all of my RS sheets into a new folder, and I was actually using the pens from Chalklet again to label the different display wallets with the particular topic theme, so for example euthanasia, business ethics. So then the next thing I had to do was just go through an article which I'd written for the school magazine, and there were a few quotes from this book which I had meant to mention, but I hadn't actually, so I actually had to just go through the book and add them in. I'd kind of been procrastinating it because I knew that it would be quite a long task to find the quotes again in the book, because I hadn't made a note of them when I initially read the book, not knowing that I would write this article. So the first thing I did when I got home from school on Wednesday was just go through and plan my study session for the rest of the evening, and I was using this list book which my friend Eloise got me, and it's from Paperchase. So the first thing I needed to do was just upload my video for this week, which was my Easter Sunday vlog, and I just went through, I edited a thumbnail actually as well, and I uploaded it. And I actually still have one-on-one Spanish lessons once a week, and I had it at the end of today, so I just went through the vocabulary which I had learnt today and added it into my Quizlet. And then the next thing I did was just some revision on lithium cells for chemistry. And once again, as you saw me do on Monday, I went through and just made some flashcards on this. So then the next thing I had to do was just go through and edit 2 articles for the school magazine. So I am the assistant editor for our school magazine, and so I'm in charge of basically checking the grammar and general coherency of the articles before they are sent off in their final forms. So that's what I was just doing here, and I do actually quite enjoy editing, so it was good fun. Our deadline's actually tomorrow, so it's really exciting. I'm really excited to see the finished product. So the next thing I did, which was again for the school magazine, was write the head girls report, which I didn't show for privacy reasons. And then after that, I had been given some reading homework to do for religious studies today, and so I just went through these 3 articles from The Guardian and highlighted and made some notes. And then lastly, I just cut out these Quizlet flashcards whilst listening to a lecture on Mary Magdalene. So then when I got home from school on Thursday night, I decided to light some candles in my room, which I hadn't really done all this week. And then the first piece of homework that I did was just writing a timed English essay paragraph on, I'm pretty sure that this was on Hibbert and the dinner after the raid in Journey's End. And then after that I decided to write/plan another paragraph, but this time it was on the cenotaph. Then next I just added the notes that I'd taken from the philosophy sheets yesterday, which I showed you, and I just added them into my notes. And there were also a few bits from the articles that tied in with other topics that we had done, so I just put these on sticky notes and added them to the folder which I showed you, I think, on Tuesday. And then I also did some of the same mind maps for sexual ethics that I did on Tuesday. Then next I did this chemistry paper, and this was from Physics and Maths Tutor, and it was on amino acids. I hadn't actually finished labelling the parts of my folder with the pens on Monday, so I just decided to do this now. And I was watching a study with me at the same time. I think this one was Evie's, or was it Rhiannon's? Rhiannon's. I'm so sorry, Rhiannon. And then I just quickly planned my study session for this evening, and I was using my amazing Marauders Map to-do list. And actually this was a to-do list for the whole of the weekend because, of course, because it's Friday, I have a lot more time now to study over the weekend. So then I just made some more of these sexual ethics mind maps. I was finding them to be really helpful, so I'm really glad that I did spend the time doing these, even though they were fairly time consuming. So we haven't actually finished the secularism topic yet. We're nearly done, but we've got about 2 or 3 lessons left on it. So I was just actually going through my secularism notes and refining it and making sure that everything related to the specification and just setting it out so that it'll be easier to revise from. And I was actually using my dad's iPad to annotate the notes. Unfortunately though, my camera did run out of charge halfway through this, so I ended up doing these notes for about 2.5 hours, but it only filmed about half an hour of it, so I'm sorry about that. But I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching and have a productive week.